Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Jarvis, and thank you for coming back to my YouTube channel, Planner Actual. I am a Franklin Planner user, and I do videos on unboxing and showing you what planners look like, some training. Today's a little different, though. I did some information. I started carrying the Pocket Planner, and I did a little video on my thoughts of that. And then from that video, I had several requests for people asking if I could just show them my morning routine. I evidently mentioned it several times, and I just wanted to take a few minutes to show you what it was like on my morning routine. Now, I get up at 5:30 every morning. I have a full-time job, but even if I didn't, I would get up at 5:30. That is the magical time. Nobody would bother you. You get to see the sun rising. It's just a wonderful and harmonious experience. And I do several things in the morning that may take me an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on how I work through them. So let me get this out of the way. We'll look at my planner in a minute. That's the Colt planner. I just received that. I'm not really sure if I like it or not. We'll have to decide later. Now, the very first thing I do are morning pages. Now, morning pages were put forth by a woman named Julia Cameron in her book, The Artist's Way. You can see this is she does it right. And let's just get going. She says, let's get it done. So she starts right from the beginning. Chapter 1, let's work on morning pages. And the morning pages, and and she talks about, she recommends you do 3 handwritten morning pages, 3 pages of text. She calls it stream of consciousness. It's anything. It's a brain dump, a brainstorming session. Have we talked about that since the 7 habits? But this one is a little bit less detailed and more broad in scope and purpose. What you're designed here to do when you do the morning pages is just write anything on your mind. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be in any order. You can jump back and forth. The whole idea is for you to empty your mind in 3 pages so that you can get set for the rest of the day. Everything goes in there. Now, one interesting thing, she mentioned several. One of them is there's no wrong way to do morning pages. However you like. Don't type them, though. You have to handwrite them. There is an absolute connection between your brain and your hand when you're writing. It's like you're doing it in your own font. So you need to write. I think my opinion, there's going to be a big push for digital minimalism coming up. And people are going to see the advantages of writing longhand and how it helps you. But she goes on to mention that you put everything in there. Angry, whiny, petty stuff, everything. You're mad at your mom, you're mad at your spouse, you're mad at your boss. But don't, and here's the key, don't put negative everything in there. I always start my morning pages off with gratitude. Here's what I'm happy for. I'm happy for my beautiful wife, my gifted children. I have a job. I got up in the morning. I have my health, all of that. I start there. And then I can go on into some things that aren't quite as inspirational. Now, this may sound a little unusual, but when you're done with the morning pages, you throw them away. It's like, or you can keep them in a file, but you don't let anybody else read them. They're not for anybody else. You can go back and read them if you'd like. I don't. I shred mine. Nobody is allowed to read your morning pages except you. And then she says you shouldn't even read them for the first 8 weeks. I don't read mine. I just destroy them every day. It's a very, helpful way to start my morning. It clears my brain. It gets some things out that I've got in there that I need to flesh out on paper. And then I can even take some of that information that I put in the morning pages and I'll transfer that to my progressive task list or my daily task list because I'm putting everything in there. Here's what my daily pages look like. Now, this all stream of consciousness, I write as fast as I can. The author recommends note style paper, 8.5 by 11 for your pages. But I'm a little bit frugal. What I do is I have a lot of daily pages and note pages that I don't use. So instead of throwing them away, I just repurpose them for my daily pages. You can see here's when I've kind of started, and I slowed down a little bit on this one so that you might be able to read it. But I just sit in front and I don't even think about things. I get a general idea of what I want to write, a picture in my mind, something, a smell, a taste, anything, and then I just write it down here. And then I would go on to another notion, another thought. And you're just clearing your mind of everything. You're going blank as much as possible. You know, I think we used to call it a brain dump. I think we did. That sounds kind of, I don't like using that word. I like brainstorming. And there's a dozen other words out there for doing that. But the whole idea is you get everything out of your mind and on the paper. And then you just get rid of it. Now, my beautiful wife knows that I do this, and she is gracious enough not to even ask about content or even look at it. Let me just throw it in the trash. And we're done. Now, that's my first thing I do are morning pages. That's number one. Number two, which is fun for me, are my reading the Bible and my devotions. And I put those together on the same thing because I like to stack my habits. And reading the Bible and doing devotions is pretty much the same, kind of the same habit. This is a study version of the New Living Translation, the NLT. It has words that are accessible to people like me. And I read the Bible in a year. Now, this setup, reading in a year, was developed by a monk, I think in like the 18th century or 19th century, McChurn or something like that. And the whole idea is you're going to read 4 chapters a day. One of them will be in the Old Testament. One of them will be a psalm. One of them, and 2 of them will be in the New Testament. So, like, see, tomorrow I have 2 Corinthians 16. I'm in the Revelations again because it does go back and forth. I read Revelations at the beginning when I started this. So, Zechariah and then John. Now, this is what it looks like. 2 Chronicles 16 tomorrow morning. There we go. Here, and I normally read the footnotes first because that gives me a better understanding of what I'm about to read in the body of the text. Now I do, even though I have tabs here, I put down page markers so that I can get to it easily. These particular page markers, they're from Midori. Yeah, Midori, and they're just called index clips. They're not. They're like $12 for 8. They're really, really, really handy. Or I have used this on others. Is book darts. And if you don't know anything about book darts, you really aren't paying attention. Book darts are simply these, and they attach right to the page, and you can get to it. So those are book darts. If you need something to do your pages. So tomorrow morning is Second Chronicles, and then I'm going to Revelation. So I got it there. Oh, that's John. Here's Revelation. So every morning I read those 4 chapters. First of all, I read all of the information down in the study guide, which is a lot. Sometimes there's more reading in the study guide than there is in the actual chapter. And you can see that here. Study guide starts there. Chapter starts there. Chapter keeps going. There's 6. The study guide is all the way to there. So there's usually more in the study guide, but it's very interesting in the New Living Translation. It tells you all about the characters are in there, the time, what it was during its time, you know, the seasons of shelter. You learn a lot of things that way, and it's written so you can understand it. So I do read the Bible in the morning, every morning. You can see I'm about to get done here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go do it again, but I'm going to use a different reading. So this is a reading plan I got from our Christian bookstore. It's the same thing. It has I think 3 or 4 different plans in here. But this is the plan I'm using. Plan 1, Old and New Testament, Psalms and Proverbs. Day 1 here. All the way across. And back here, week 2. All the way across. It's similar to what I'm doing here, but only a different setup. You can get this. I got this online, actually, from Amazon, but you can get that at the Christian bookstore. Now I'm done reading the Bible. What's next, you might ask? Well, next is I do some devotions. And let me pull these out here. My devotions these are the daily bread, the Word in Season and the daily bread. And they just do something every day. It was something for today on a Saturday, on both, and then tomorrow will be on Sunday. It's just really quick, in and out, but it gives you just kind of another, hey, life is good, Christ is good, God is there. You can just read that. It's fun. And then I have a lot of different motivators and a lot of different devotionals that I use. This one I just got, some Minute Motivations for Men. And tomorrow will be the one on Open Your Heart to God. It's on salvation. It's just one page. They're not that difficult. But they really do give you an idea of what life is like living for Christ. Now, I'm not done. Seventh part of the devotions, I read at least 2 other books. This is just another one, a daily dose. And this one is really nice because it offers stories. It brings it down to the level of humans. And you just read one every day. I'm not up to date. I haven't read one every day. And it doesn't matter. Those days don't matter. But they're nice stories because they have little, vignettes in there. They have, here's the meteorologist, John Campbell, tells of a man he knew was a prisoner of war in Germany. So, and then when I read that, when I'm done, I'll read this one, Stand Strong, Devotions for Men. And, it still has the date, but I don't go by that. I just go by the reading. And this one, again, talks a little bit about, brings it home with, here's an example of somebody and what they did living in Christ. So I'll read that. And then I have several others. And it's depending on my mood, I might pull another one down and look at it. Okay, we're not done. Now, I have done my devotions, written my morning pages, and now I need a plan. More importantly, I need to coordinate my 2 binders. This is that new Colt binder I'm looking at. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to use it or not. Still in the rotation yet. Haven't decided. Let me just take away the stand and we'll put it down, just like we knew better. And I use friction pens most of the time, except I do have and I use a fountain pen when I do my morning pages in the morning. I didn't have one today. I already put it to sleep, but I do use a fountain pen. And this is my friction 0.5 that I use in my calendars. I also have one that I use. This is 0.38 that I'll use. Actually, I use that one in the calendar, and this one I use on the notes pages. And then I have an Inkjoy. There'll be a time when I need to sign my lottery winnings or something. I like to have 2 pens that are actual indelible ink. Now, when you open up my planner, the first thing is forms. That way, if I got a problem, I want to write something down, I don't have to search for it. I just open it up. Here's all my blank forms. Now, let's look here. This is, we're sending it on the 21st. Now, what I've done is, let me pull up. This is my pocket planner. And let me tell you the strategy on this. Even when you open up my Classic, you'll see that I have Post-it notes. Same thing here. And a Post-it note is just something where I wanted to write real quick. Here, let me just open this up, write something out, and then we'll put it on the date it needs to go. I can follow up later. But I even have all of my note pages here on the front part that I can just flip it open and go to it. Now, I'm in the Monticello, and I'll tell you why. Because if you've been listening to me at all, you'll know that I hate Monticello. I just despise it. The things that cause me to despise it are also the things that make it work well for my deployment here when I deploy this thing. What I don't like and what helps is that all of the paper is thin. They use soy ink to make it. So if you scratch off, because I use friction pens, you scratch it off and it scratches off the ink too. The daily pages, 20-pound page is the lightest they make. And this is called Monticello is called a gallery. Binder, gallery filler. I think the gallery fillers are Monticello and 7 Habits. Might not be, but I just knew the gallery filler is Monticello. It's one they've had forever, and they're not interested in changing it. The only thing I use to decorate my planner are some stickers, and I'll put a link on those. Mama Bear from Etsy, I ordered some today, and Shelby Lee Company, does marvelous job with page lifters, incredible. And if you're not buying from Shelby Lee Co., you're wasting your money, in my opinion. So this is a weekly planner, which also fills what I need. I don't need a daily. Here's what I'm using this for. This will be for me to carry, and in here we'll have all of this is February. This will have everything going on every day of the week here. I don't need any explanation. I don't really need all the times, because what I want to do is if somebody says, hey, you available for dinner on the 10th at 5 o'clock? Let me look quick. I know I can do that on the phone, but it's not the same. It's definitely not the same. I can open up here. I'm going to dinner with Joe and Judy. I'll put that in there. And if I need a note, I can write it here. I have a weekly notes page and weekly tasks for the week coming up. So again, you can see how flimsy these are. They're real flimsy, 20-pound printer paper. But that's what I need, because I don't need anything bulky and big. I just want something where I can write it down, open it up, and look at it. So that's why I'm going to the Monticello for my pocket planner. Now, when you get into the classic, it really doesn't matter, in my opinion. This just looks nice. I'll be quite honest with you, I don't like the photograph here on the 7 Habits. I wish they'd get rid of that to give me more note space. I'm still building this out, so I'm missing a lot of things. I'm building the pocket out, so I'm missing pretty much everything. So when I'm done with that, I'm not quite done. Because at the end of the day, what I'll do is I have a little thing where I'll do the evening overview. And the evening overview, or my daily recap, I go in and and this is something I don't have to do formally or with any real intention. Well, it has to be intention, but I don't have to write it down. You can. Many people will tell you to write it down, because when you write something down, you ground it. It's your brain goes, okay, that happened. Just like a scheduling thing. If you type it in, your brain doesn't care. Your brain doesn't care when you type things. That's just muscle memory. Writing it is where your brain pays attention. So the daily recap, I'll sit down at a chair in the living room, and I'll just go over what happened today. And I'll make sure that I too, at the end of the day, what did I do right? How can I improve? Where did I go wrong? And what have I left undone? And that information goes tomorrow into the morning pages and makes it over to the daily task list. So I wrote my plan out for when I do my scheduling. Things I ask at the start of the day. This goes into my morning pages. What am I grateful for? What good can I do, accomplish today? Now, amor fati is, and memento mori and memento vive, those are Stoic terms. Those are part of my principles and values. Amor fati means embrace your circumstances. You can't change it, get with it. If something's not happening the way you want it, stop thinking about how you want it and then do something to make it better. Just get with it. Memento mori means remember you will die. I'm in law enforcement. All my children are military, police, fire. One is a helicopter paramedic. They all know that. And then the other one, Momente Vive, I put that one in there because remember you're going to die, but also remember have fun. Memento Vive means have fun. So those are the things I look at. Well, we've come to the end. Now, if you need anything, just send me a note. Let me know and I'll get back to you. Been very nice talking to you. Once again, Matt Jarvis from Planner Actual. Thank you.